What are you thinking about being?
I think I'm gonna throw the Mike Myers mask on.
The Mike Myers mask?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Michael Myers, just to chill. I got this nice promo idea that I got in my head for a video. It's about to be fire, you know what I'm saying? But let's touch into this other topic. Where did I want to go with it after Coolio? Because that's, that was something somber. We could touch on the findings that they found on the PNB Rock murder.
Terrible situation.
Yeah, that was nasty. They saying that a 17-year-old killed him. They arrested a 17-year-old. But they saying that his father was already in the restaurant, and his father went back, got him from the crib, and bought him to do the robbery. Yeah. And I guess son took it upon his hands to kill him. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation is just like, it's just, it's devastating because we talking about, a bunch of black men. At the end of the day, we talking about a father sending his son outside to do something wicked. And we talking about a young man who did everything in his power to get away from an unjust and wicked way of living, and was out with his daughter and his partner. And it's just a sad situation to constantly see that keep happening. I don't see Post Malone getting shot up at his shows. It's like, I'm getting tired of this.
Yeah, I don't see Jack Harlow getting
shot
chased
up at their shows, and it's like the way they've co-opted this hip hop culture into being this, like, making us look like we just a bunch of violent heathens out here. It's crazy because that's not really how it goes. And we losing too many of ourselves right now unnecessarily due to being misinformed about our masculinity and like who we are as individuals and human beings, and we acting out in ways that it's just disparaging to us.
And not even knowing these are first generation wealthy people now, you know what I'm saying? These rappers and these actors or whatever you want to call them, entrepreneurs and all that. They don't really know the responsibilities of that shit, being fiscal with your money and saving that shit and investing and all that. I mean, we get into it now, more conversations and everything like that, but still with the big jewelry to go get breakfast, you know what I'm saying? I understand that. I get it. Wear what you want to wear because you earned it. You worked hard for it. But at the same time, know where you at too. You know what I'm saying? Because I hear a lot about that area. I never been to LA, so I don't know for sure firsthand, but you hear a lot about these areas. But at the same time, what we saying, how we started the conversation, it's sad to hear that a kid had his father in his life, but his father is giving him negative influence.
Yeah.
Like, yo, come on, there's a rapper here. Let's go rob him. Like,
but that's to the society that we live in, and like what we perceive as what it means like to be a man. You know what I mean? Like, we have to really start like really questioning that convention. You know what I mean? Because we gotta ask ourselves, did we really subscribe to this convention in the first place? You know what I mean? Because it's become so toxic. You know what I mean? It's become something that's holding us back and not helping us move forward. And I think like this isn't just a issue for black men or men in the ghetto or anything like that. I think this is an issue across the board where we're all having to like really sit here and really like take back and like think about that in a more introspective way. Because if we keep moving forward, we're gonna keep creating these like toxic situations like this, and like now there's like loss of life for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, we're not all supposed to be. Some people are bread makers, some people are homemakers. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily like a gendered thing. You know what I mean? It's different people play different parts of society. You know what I mean? And everyone has their position to play, and it's like, it really kind of. I love Fat Joe, always gonna be a fan, but when he said like, yo, I used to rob niggas, like, so I don't got a problem with anybody robbing niggas, but why'd you have to kill them? But it's like, but this is the problem, like, because why we even gotta rob each other in the first place? You know what I mean? Like,
why you can't find some other means to get money?
Like, why is it that, we gotta hurt other people to get the things we want? And this has kind of been like a recurrent problem. Like, it's like to become successful and to make it out the hood is to hurt the very people in the very foundation of what you coming from. And here it's like we went from all we was doing was talking about selling crack to one another and this and that. like kids on these drugs and stuff like that. Even though Uzi Vert had a young rapper on his label that just this young girl, she just recently got murdered out in Texas. You know what I mean? Like it's sad to see it as a cultural phenomenon. It's sad to see that it's becoming so commonplace. You know what I mean? Like these are young kids.
So you think the music plays a part in it?
Oh, the music plays a big part. You know, I was just watching a Sway clip with him and Rich Homie Quan talking about the Thugger situation and like, you know, respect to Rich Homie Quan, you know what I mean? Like he said what he needed to say, like, yo, I got babies out here that is watching what I do, and he's like, everything I put out here, you know, like the words you speak into the universe, they find you. They find you and they take life, you know what I mean?
Nah, that's a fucking
Snoop
fact.
even said it his own self when he was going through the whole situation where he was on death row. He's like, I was on death row. Next thing you know, I got a murder case. And I made a whole song about murder was the case that they gave me. I didn't even have a murder. Now I really got a murder case.
Yeah.
It's like you speak these things into existence, you know? So it's like, you know, I appreciate all these artists like telling our story and like giving people an insight to what's going on in our communities, but we also got to start really thinking about what it is we're saying, because like we're also at a point now that we're speaking harm into existence upon each other. It's not it.
Yeah, it's a whole fucked up situation because words do have power, you know what I mean? And for these hip hop artists, every single one to be talking about the same shit, that's why people like are like not gravitating towards the music anymore, because it's like everybody's talking about the same shit and everything is something negative. Even like with the females, like you might find the Rhapsody or something like that, but they all talking about, you know, the
sex, they pussy,
the strip club thing and all that. It ain't nothing wrong with it, but
it's very one-sided. It you know, like for me, like being so closely involved in the music industry all my life and like it being my source of income, you know, like watching artists like take that route, you know what I mean, and like seeing that there's not, you know, I get it, you know what I mean, because there's been plenty of times where I was just like, it's whatever, let me get the bag, you know what I mean, but that always turns into something like at the end of the day, like money doesn't, money's
but
not
like when I look at these bigger artists, I don't like, I could put the blame on them, but most of the time, like these labels, that's what they want, because then they'll hear you talking some conscious shit and they be like, nah, we not putting that out, but then they'll put the money behind all the bullshit.
Yeah, they'll put the money behind the bullshit, and it's fucked up, because it's like you see it's not cool, you know what I mean, because it's like you look at an XXXTentacion situation, like I hope this young man's family is being paid, like this kid is pulling in numbers. You're talking about billions of hits. Billions of people around the world. There's a whole documentary about him. Like he does, I think, if I'm correct, have a child. You know,
she was pregnant when he died. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, knowing that, like I hope, like, and that's sad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this is also like a myth in America. Like when people come into generational wealth, it normally comes from some sort of traumatic situation. If you look at any like elite family, there's a history of trauma.
Yeah, I hate that thought too. Like, you gotta go through something to be up here. Like that shit.
Exactly.
Sometimes that shit pisses me off.
It's like everything comes with like a sacrifice, and normally the sacrifice is like your happiness. So it's like you could have comfort on paper, but you might not be comfortable in your mind and your own self. You know, you listen to some of these celebrity kids, and I met some of them my own self, and I listen to them talk about their lives, and like after a while you meet so many people in this industry, no matter how famous they are, you realize it's just a human being in front of you.
Yeah,
that's it.
And they might not be happy with that life that they living right now, cause
they just as fragile as anybody else.
As anybody else.
They're doing a job. It's a job. It's a job. It's no different than being a janitor. It's a job.
Rest in peace to PNB Rock, man. And then now you got a 17-year-old that's about to serve however long in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Like, be in jail for life.
That's